Broker Associate Resources tab. So please go there and look at that, trying to make it easier for you to upload those documents directly into the right place. But I also want to reiterate to you on the Broker Associate Resources tab, don't forget about your broker group enrollment authorization card. It's critical for you to use that card in any type of broker or insurance agent group account. So we, number one, can of course code it properly, but number two, to make sure that, as we're setting these up, we're understanding that these could be a very sensitive in nature situation, and so we want to make sure that we are taking care of the account the way that the broker wants us to take care of that particular account. There are some differences between a broker-related group account and just a traditional group account that we personally will bring into the company. Another thing that I'd like to mention with you is a tool that I know Mr. Petrola talked about on the group call, as well as I had mentioned on the previous broker call. But part of our broker presentation package is that $10 marketing material package that you can purchase from corporate. It's got that professional white folder and all the materials that you need inside of it to really do a professional presentation for a broker. It has our PowerPoint presentation in it for you to use, kind of like a flip book, as well as our flat sheets and our white paper. But there's actually a piece in there that actually is called our kit.presentation, kit.pres. And it actually is a phenomenal tool that will do a presentation for you. If you have not had an opportunity to look at one of these, I know we have asked for this pulled independently outside of the broker kit as well, so you can have just that one piece. I'm not sure if they're in supply yet, but you do want to write the number down just in case. As we replenish them at corporate, you want to get your hands on one. The number is 53903. 53903. If you ask for 53902, it's actually the broker presentation packet, the whole $10 pack. But if you ask for 53903, it's actually just this marketing piece I'm talking about. But it almost will do the entire presentation for you. I think it's one of the most impressive tools that I've seen in our B2B space when it comes to talking to either insurance professionals, HR directors, business owners. And it starts on the front cover. It says, for their peace of mind and your bottom line. So please, if you get an opportunity to get your hands on one of those, review that. Another thing I'd like to discuss with you on the call today is some questions that I have received from the last call, and that way I can address them. When it comes to our finder's fee agreement, because we do know that we have a variation of agreements. We have our broker agreement. We have 3 general agency agreements. We have our level 16. We have our 48 and our 40, and all of which those agreements are all associate agreements. In a sense where they don't fill out an associate form, but they do make that particular entity or person an associate registered, with Legal Shield. You will see them in your genealogy. And, the broker agreement will show up as a director in your organization. The GA level 16% will show up as a director. The GA 48 will show up as a director. And the GA 40 will show up as a manager. But when it comes to finder's fees, those are not associates. You will not see them in your genealogy. When we're setting up a finder's fee, we're setting that up to work with a center of influence or an organization or something of that nature, whereas they don't want to personally market the Legal Shield membership or product, but they do want to give us a connection to their member base. They do want to endorse the fact that, we're a great product to consider having. So through their introduction, through their relationship, we want to give them some commission from that. And that's what the finder's fee is there to do. There's no reason for them for you to talk to them about any basic trainings or any trainings at all, because they're not going to market the product. You will. And they don't need a license either. However, there are 2 states, and this did come from somebody out of Massachusetts, there are 2 states that do require us for that finder to have a license in order to even work with the finder's fee, and those 2 states are Massachusetts and Mississippi. So I do want to keep that in mind, and that's something we really don't talk about too often. But one of our great associates, Ms. Julie Gershon, had that question. Of course, she works in Massachusetts, so this could be critical to her business, making sure she understands how to set that up. So Find a Fee is a great way to work with entities, centers of influences, organizations, without them, like I mentioned, without them being registered truly as an associate or needing a license, except for, of course, those. Also, from our last call, we had Mr. Tony Guidi on our call, and he was talking about when you get in front of a broker, you should be really prepared to discuss with him critical information that's going to lead you down the right road to move forward in your relationship, to move forward and progress with solidifying agreements, to move forward with the opportunity of working within his organization, the way that they're used to working with other carriers. And he did send me over some of the questions that he was suggesting on the call last week, 2 weeks ago. And I wanted to share those with you again. He was kind enough to type those up and send them over to me. But basically he said, here are a few questions I asked during the broker meeting. It's more important for a broker to do most of the talking. And he said, if you wish to know the mind of a man, listen to his words. It's a great statement, Tony. But basically, he said the questions he likes to ask them is, how long have you, how have you grown such a successful business? Are you growing your business or maintaining? He says, what are you doing to grow? A lot of brokers use Legal Shield as an open door or to open doors for other products. So, there's a lot of competition out there. So he's telling them an opportunity to grow would maybe, offering a product like Legal Shield where we don't have a lot of competition. It's going to allow you to open up the door, build relationships, and then kind of back in with the other products and services that they currently provide. Another question he said he likes to ask is, how do you think national health care will affect your business? Another question would be, what carriers do you currently work with, giving them an idea of, is there any competition, how they're structured, what are they currently marketing? What makes those carriers good partners for you? Understanding, the relationship that they have and how they feel about that relationship, how they've, not only developed but maintain that relationship. And another thing he says is a very important question, and I agree, is how often do you like to be contacted by a carrier rep? Because we can do the same thing, obviously, with our services. We don't want to be, obviously, too aggressive, too pushy, but at the same time, we want them to understand that we do care enough to contact them as often as they wish to be contacted. And Mr. Greedy also went as far as putting together something that he calls a broker profile discovery form. Kind of like a checklist that he kind of uses. I don't know if he does this mentally, if he's actually doing this physically on paper while he's in the room. We need to ask him that. However, I was glancing through his discovery form, and I just thought it was great because when we're out there, let's say, for instance, in traditional group marketing, we're out there and we're cold calling. We kind of do that on a, on a personal note with these groups. We put down their information, who we've talked to, when do they want us to call them back, and all the details. And Tony has put that together in regards to his brokers he's contacting. So he calls it his broker profile. And basically it just has some lines for you to put the name of the broker, the firm, their personal information as far as their address, phone number, email. And then he has kind of like the questions he asks. How long have you been in business, in the insurance business, and what's made you successful? Where he puts his notes. Once again, how are you growing your business, or are you maintaining your business? What are you doing to continue